Hey everybody, Bungzy here with another ultralight review on ultralight backpacking. All the way back in September of 2017, damn, I've been doing this a while, I put out a video on my recommended knife choices. I've thrown a link up top if you want to see baby Bungzy in action. It's an oldie but goodie. Anyways, I profiled two knives in the original video. One for those incorporating a little fishing into their backpacking trips, and one for those who don't. Well, today I have an update. While my original two knife recommendations are both fine knives, one of them has been upgraded. Plus, I want to introduce you to a third knife that has become one of my favorite items in my kit altogether. First up is the same Swiss Army knife, signature pocket knife I recommended back in the day. This one again is for those leaving the fish, in the water. To recap, it covers all the essentials at only 0.77 ounces. Besides a blade and scissors, it also has a tweezers and a pen. It's worth noting that these are two items, tweezers and the pen, I'd always recommend carrying. The tweezers is a must should you need to remove splinters and ticks or whatever else comes up. The pen is critical for a few reasons. For starters, I recommend using your own to fill out registers, as there's no telling what germs are lurking on the communal register pen. Second, you might need to leave a note on the trail for someone behind you, or maybe make notes on your map or whatever. Again, the tweezers and a pen are both musts. This pocket knife also has a combo nail file and screwdriver. These obviously aren't must-haves, but I have in fact needed the screwdriver while on the trail to fix the trekking poles. Plus, it's helpful at cleaning up your nasty fingernails. I know, gross, but I had to mention it. So not only does this little guy at 0.77 ounces save your weight over most other knives, but it eliminates a few loose end items that you would otherwise have to keep track of, such as a pen and tweezers and possibly a little scissors. I stress this all the time in my videos. Look to not only save weight, but also unclutter and simplify your kit. The less items you have to keep track of, the better. I have a link to this little $22 gem in my video description down below. Please note that Victorinox has several knives that look just like this, but are otherwise missing the tweezers and or the pen, so be sure to follow my link specifically. Moving on. For the part-time fisherman, my original knife recommendation was the 2.29 ounce Gerber dime micro tool, as it has pliers which can be used to save a fish from an embedded or hard to reach hook. Even if you debarb your hooks, a pair of pliers is critical to saving a significant percentage of your fish. By the way, I have a link to it as well in the description below. While it's a great multi-tool with a couple extra features, I've since replaced the Gerber dime with an even lighter pliers-equipped multi-tool that is on the market. Let me introduce you to the Leatherman Style PS multi-tool. Generic name, I know. It comes in at only an even lighter 1.58 ounces, and it has a pliers and scissors, but no blade. While I preferred had both, in my experience, I find myself using scissors far more often than a blade. But on the bright side, because there is no blade, you can actually carry this onto a plane no problem. It also has a file/screwdriver combo. They too have incorporated a tweezers like the Swiss Army knife and Gerber dime, but there is no pen, so be sure to pack one. They've also incorporated a fixed carabiner. Personally, I'd rather they didn't and instead just save some additional weight, but it's still the lightest multi-tool with the pliers that I can find. And besides, the carabiner also doubles as a bottle opener, so not all bad. I have a link to this little gem in my video description below as well. So there's your updated ultralight packing and fishing pocket knives. But I'm not done yet. As I mentioned, I have another knife for you. In the last year or so, I've added one more knife to my kit. While the two multi-tools I just recapped take turns in my kit, based on whether I'm fishing or not, I now always carry, or should I say wear, a neck knife. For those not familiar with the concept of a neck knife, it's basically a fixed handle knife secured in a kydex sheath and then hung from a sturdy necklace or piece of rope, call it what you want. Kydex is a cut-proof plastic that can be shaped to the form of the knife blade. So besides being uber light and waterproof, the kydex sheath can also be molded so that the knife stays in there snugly, but can be drawn with just a firm tug. You don't need a catch to keep it in, so you are just a tug away from drawing your knife. Now, do you need this knife? Of course not, but I'll admit it, it gives me such peace of mind. The peace of mind I gain is worth the tiny weight penalty, which I'll get into in just a minute. Here's the thing with knives and peace of mind, though. They're like bear spray. They're worthless, and unless you can get to it and deploy it in a split second, 24/7, regardless of the circumstances at which point you and a bear, God forbid, cross paths. Is your knife inside a pocket or a pouch or behind a zipper? Don't bother carrying it. You in all likelihood won't get to it in time. The peace of mind you think you're getting, it's fool's gold. Is it strapped to your pack somewhere? If only you always had your pack on. Not to mention have the dexterity of Plastic Man to effortlessly reach it. Again, don't bother otherwise. Or maybe your knife is floating somewhere on your belt. Sometimes here, sometimes there. Again, don't bother unless you can instinctively grab it anywhere at any time. Let's talk about its storage mechanism. Is it secured well in a sheath on your belt or somewhere else, but secured with a button clasp or the like? That requires a little fiddling or quite a bit of finger force to unlatch? Again, don't bother. Maybe you can, in fact, get to it quickly, but do you have to unfold the blade? That's a problem, too. And if you manage to get to it and unfold it quickly, is the blade locked in place, or do you risk it coming back at your fingers? Again, problem. You get the idea. The neck knife solves all these problems. It's always there in the same place, instantly accessible, and there's nothing to unlock or unfold. It's the perfect knife, if you ask me. The particular neck knife I recommend is extremely light, stays sharp longer, and is stainless and is easy to sharpen when needed, by the way. I was going to cram the specifics on it into this video, but I actually have quite a bit to cover, including my recommended neck knife setup, which includes incorporating a mini flashlight as well. So, sorry for the tease, but come back for my dedicated video on my recommended neck knife setup, which I'll do next. I think you'll enjoy it. So that's all the time I need for now. I hope I gave you something to think about. And as always, please help me grow the show by hitting the like button and clicking on the Bungzy logo floating on the screen to subscribe if you haven't already. It helps me a ton. Thanks, and I'll catch you on my next ultralight review on ultralight backpacking.